TV. And remember, if you would love us to come and cover your event, you can contact us on 0717 424 866. Form New Faith with your favorite host, Maureen Kimani.
And I, Gimaina.
Come all to enjoy in Christ.
Where we tackle issues affecting our young people in the society, and today we have a very fascinating conversation. As you can see down on your screen, that is a Boychild, and we're going to be uncovering on how people can support a boy child in the society by empowering them, because we understand that boys are truly faced with unique challenges in the society, and so that is by trying to balance our traditional expectation with modern, our pressure. And so we shall be uncovering this topic. And in case you'd love to share with us your thoughts on these, maybe you have a son at home, you have a nephew, how have you been dealing with them and supporting them as they grow up? You can do that on 0717 424 866. Or you can use the SMS number that is 21760. Welcome to the discussion. But first, allow me to say hello to my co-host Maggie, so that she can also tell us whom do we have in the studio today for this conversation. Karibu sana.
Indeed, thank you so much, Maureen. To have you, karibuni sana once again to Capuchin TV, Form New Faith. And today, as it was said earlier, we are going to uncover the boy child. It is normally illustrated that the girl child is a river, but the boy child is the source. We need to empower the source just as we have been empowering the river. And today we are joined by very, very able panelists who will have a chance to introduce themselves and the various positions that they hold in our archdiocese. Karibuni sana. And we will start with the gentleman on our right. Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Maureen. Thank you, Maggie, for having me in your show. I am Father Martin Jihia, currently serving at Queen of Apostles Parish, Ruaraka, and I am glad to be here this afternoon. Yeah.
Karibu sana, Father, and we're so happy to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
Yes, on to our next panelists.
Thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Maureen, for having us here. My name is William Kimaya. I work as the youth program coordinator at the Archdiocese of Nairobi, and I'm happy to be here to discuss about Boychild. And just for confirmation, I'm a boy.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much to both of you for making time to be here and to share your insights with the viewers and for them, so that they can be able to learn and how to support the boy child in our community and society at large. So Maggie,
yes,
should we just kick in the conversation?
Indeed,
yes.
Indeed. So we will start with Father Martin. What is boy empowerment? What is the empowerment of the boy child? What does it entail in the society?
Thank you very much for that question. Boy empowerment, we must see it in the context of what is going on in the society today. Mm-hmm. What is going on in the society today is the issue of gender equality has been discussed very much and canvassed in various social circles. And if I remember well, in around 2015, actually, National Gender and Equality Commission did a study on the perceptions of that boy child has been left out in the gender equation agenda.
Yes.
And they found out it is true. Actually, I think 92% of the respondents responded by saying that yes, the boy child has been left out. And therefore, boy empowerment comes from that background that the boy child has been left out in terms of empowering her socially, intellectually, culturally, and even religiously.
Yes.
So the boy child empowerment therefore involves imparting knowledge in the mind, feeding the soul, and also empowering this boy in terms of the social and economic fora, in terms of having a good organization in the social context, and also having economically empowering programs. So I would say, in a nutshell, the empowerment would have to encompass all those elements of social, of moral, of intellectual, and even of economic empowerment. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if William, you have a different definition from what your father has been able to point out. And maybe you can give us an experience of when you were growing up. I don't know, did you have something of sort like the empowering boy child in your society, in your community? Please, you can share with us.
Okay, thank you very much, Maureen. And fathers explained it very well. However, I'll just pick it up from there. You've asked if I've got an experience of boy child empowerment or empowerment process kind of, and I'll say that yes, it is there in our society, and especially in Kenya, though it is not. There's no more emphasis about it. I think we've focused much on girl child and we've forgotten about the boy child. And further has talked of statistics, mimi nitasema ya mtaa, that you look at it this way, that kuna Kiriri Women University, there is Nairobi Women Hospital, there is women rep in the government, and then where's the space for boy child? So as much as we were focusing on girl child, of course we know the genesis of having all these women. It was because long ago, not even in our generation, long ago, there was that ubabedume wa kiume. But nowadays it's like ubabedume wa kiume ilisha, so we are vitu vili change. Yeah, and I think it is an important topic that now I'm not saying that we don't focus on girl child, but again, as much as we are focusing on girl child, let's also balance, because generally, from a biblical perspective, that men are the head of the family. And so if we don't empower the men, if we don't empower the head, then we are killing the entire society.
Yeah, and I'm loving the examples that Mr. Kimaya gave, and I remember during the last elections, one of the political parties came up with an initiative called Inua Dada campaign, but there was no Inua Kaka or anything of that sort. Yeah, so Father, would you say that the challenges that the boy child normally faces on a day-to-day activity, on a day-to-day fora, have been overlooked? And what are some of these challenges that we may say have been overlooked?
It is true that in a way the challenges that the boy child face have been overlooked in a way by the society, simply because, as Mr. Kimaya has said here, initially it was gender equality meant that we want to put some affirmative action so that we can uplift the female gender. But now that made it to the point where that even the issues of boy child were overlooked. For instance, as he has elucidated well, you find that even in terms of education, in terms of health, the issues of health, you find there is more emphasis on, when we talk of reproductive health, or when we talk about health issues, it is more of focused on ladies, but not on men. and this boy child. In terms of culturalization, the way the boy is told that you have to persevere, even when you have challenges, probably you have to persevere as a man, you know, do not cry, do not shed tears, you know. That makes the boy child that even if you are facing issues, challenges, mental issues, even as you grow up and become a man, maybe you are not able to share. Again, in the society, there is a lot probably that has been bestowed on this boy child. You find that he is probably the one, as we know, that has a role to provide probably in the family. And when you are not able to provide, even if, for instance, in the context of a family, that even when the wife is earning more than the husband, you are still forced to provide. And therefore, those become issues that pile up and probably they are overlooked. And that is why there needs to be more interventions, as the report I said actually recommended, more interventions from all state and non-state actors, including the church, focusing themselves on the challenges of the boy child. Yeah.
Mr. Kimaya, given that now you're a youth coordinator in the Archdiocese of Nairobi, what are some of the activities, some of the programs that have been kept in place so that they can empower the boy child within the ADN region and even in Kenya as a country?
Thank you, Maggie. The activities that have been set in place, one is about empowerment and mentorship, because I think without mentorship, we'll still have boys kind of complaining. Of course, we are not complaining. We are just trying to fight for our right, but again, we are not complaining. But again, without mentorship, it will look like we are complaining. But again, now, even before answering that, as Father was explaining, I was just thinking of now, where did rain start beating us as boy child? And I've realized that it's not something that has started now. It's something that started long ago. Maybe before all of you were born, I was the only one who was there. There was this musician who aliimba vizuri akasema, kizaliwa wewe ni kijana, ukose kazi tabu zote za kufuata. Unaona, hiyo wimbo sijui ni ya 1970 what. Na aliimba akasema, ukizaliwa wewe ni kijana, ukikosa kazi, then why didn't he think of ukizaliwa wewe ni msichana? And then you also look at it, maybe hapo Father atatusaidia biblically, kwenye nasema kwamba I think it's from the book of Genesis. After Adam and Eve walicheza kiwao, and then God now comes and give command, na akasema mwanaume utavu kusweat. So I think hapo hivyo ndio kidogo ilianza kuturambia. Why? Because venye ladies walisikia mwanaume utavu kusweat, wakasema it's okay, we are going to relax, watavu kusweat, and then they will have to provide. And that's why unasikia Father anasema that we are there to provide, and even if the lady is earning much more than the guy, the man will still provide. And so what we are doing, or rather what we're putting in place, is about the empowerment. We are trying to tell the boys and even the young men that si kifo, hauna contract na kifo, wewe fanya what you can do, because you find that kuna mwanaume mwenye atasema liwe liwalo, siezi nikalipua rent, area enda kope, akuwe na madeni mingi, but alipua rent to show that he's providing. But again, there is much more that you can do. And so if we are able to involve even ladies in this conversation, then at least wataweza kuona reality, na haitakuwa tu ni kazi ya wanaume kuprovide.
Okay, awesome. And just back to you, Father Martin. I loved the fact you brought up the mental health issue. And mental health is very crucial to everyone at any point. But most of the times, men's mental health doesn't even... You won't even hear people talking about men's mental health. Even if you take a look at Valentine's Day, it's all about women. Most of the activities set to happen during the year, they're focused more on the ladies. But then you find that there's this stigma surrounding men. For example, you mentioned that men are not supposed to cry. But with that, you find they suffer. They don't even open up and talk about that. Where do you feel this gap from the way men behave by not sharing their problems? But when you take a look at the ladies, they open up. They're very open to whatever issue they are suffering. Why do you feel there's still that gap? And I think people need to have that conversation more and more.
Thank you. I think taking the background of our African communities, masculinity was not seen as something that is fragile. And therefore, even the msemo wa Kiswahili, jikaze kiume, it all means that even when you are going through challenges, including mental health, you're not supposed to share them. Now, but we have been educated. We now know better health issues, physical health as well as mental health. You know, even when men are sick, even physically, it's very hard for them even to approach a medical facility.
Sure.
It will have to be like a bedridden to go to the hospital. So when it comes therefore to mental health, and we have not yet internalized this in our families, in our churches, in our villages, in our towns, that mental health is an issue. And therefore, unless someone is really running berserk, is mad, you cannot see the need to attend to him. But I think because of this realization, and as Kimaya has said about mentorship, creating awareness, we are slowly getting men come into their own group, something probably what like psychologists, I'm not an expert, but what they will call a group therapy, where men can sit and share their issues, where men can be allowed to share, allowed to even vent, allowed even to be told, yes, you can be weak, and yes, we can uplift you up. And I have seen it even in our social group platforms, like maybe a group that is exclusively of men, or like your former classmates in high school. You'll see them sharing now, or even when we meet. I think the awareness is there. And what we need to accelerate is that mentorship, that creating awareness, so that the boys who are growing, they may not grow carrying all the burdens, and they cannot be able to share. And we need to strengthen these programs and these organizations that probably are promoting men's mental well-being and mental health. But you see, when you talk of men issues, they are always seen as joke, like there is this famous men's conference. And it is always seen as a joke or somewhere to go and be brave about your masculinity. But I think the society is assimilating this, and I think that is a good trajectory, even from the perspective of the church. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, it's funny that you actually brought that up, that within a year we can have all these activities, but majorly they are meant to appreciate women, say Valentine's, Women's Day, Mother's Day, everything. But then I remember some time ago there was a joke that Men's Day is on the same date as toilets.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing was that when it comes to Father's Day, if you were to compare Mother's Day and Father's Day, mothers are more appreciated as compared to the fathers, despite the fathers actually many a times carrying the heavier burden of providing and paying the school fees and placing a meal on the table. So I think it's high time that we appreciate our men and the boy child, to be specific. But then again, Mr. Kimaya, looking at the statistics, the boy children are actually dropping out of school at an alarming rate as opposed to the girl child. Kitambo, girl child basically, after class 8 alikuwa anachiliwa anaenda aolewe. But with the current empowerment that is emphasized on the girl child, most of them actually go to school, get their degrees, hata kama hawajapata marks za degree, they at least go to the colleges, right? But right now, after Form 4, kijana ataambiwa, especially in the machinanis, ataambiwa, chukua pikipiki, pata wenzako. What is the cause of all this? Why aren't our children, our boy children, going to universities and colleges?
Wow, that's a good one. And I think the answer has already been given, and especially from your conversation, the two of you. They're saying that vitu za ladies zinapewa kipaumbele sana kushinda za wanaume. Why? Because you look at it from this angle, si jokes by the way, because ni bado ni si tuna fund. Sasa tutaweka zetu zikuwe less, because hata ikiwa ni a boy child bado ni si tutajifund. Ati leo ni Father's Day, unatupeleka out wapi? Ati leo ni Men's Day, unatununulia nini? It's our day. Instead of you buying for us, we still, so sieri to reduce zikuwe chache kidogo, and then because zenyu ni kama ni constant na zina, of course, na zinaongezeka, so we reduce ours and then tuongeze zenyu. So coming back to your question, why are boy child dropping out of school? It's because of majukumu. You find out that they have so much that they have to do, and as it was said earlier by Father Martin, that they are the provider. So there was a conversation, and before Pope Francis wrote this book on Christus Vivit, he Instrumentus Laboris, I don't know. Yeah. So he was talking about something like young people becoming parent before they became parent. How that you are the firstborn or even the secondborn. The firstborn is a lady. So as a boy, you are the thirdborn, but again, you become the firstborn. You're supposed to provide for them because you are a man. So uta sacrifice, utasema okay, wacha ma sisters wangu waende wasome, mi wacha niende ni hustle venye amesema, nichukue ndudhi ama uende mjengo. So itabidi umeenda mjengo, umechukua hizo majukumu zote, umekuwa mzazi at a very young age, na umekuwa mzazi wa watoto wenye si wako. So utaona watawacha mashule, watafanya nini ili waende wa hustle, wakuje wa provide for their families. And apart from their families, pia pressure za huku nje, kutuma fare na nini na nini. So bila fare utaachwa, so wanajituma ili waweze kutuma fare na vitu kama hizo. Yeah, so those are the reasons. It's just niseme pressure from the society and even for the families, and also hiyo ni kuwajibika ili waone kwamba the rest are going on well. Yeah.
Okay. And further, I'm just curious to know what your answer could be from the way Kimaya. I noticed I'm the only person calling him William, so I have to go with Kimaya. Yeah, I think what can you say when it comes to like men dealing with these pressures, even from their girlfriends and from their parents? Because I understand maybe even a parent anakupigia simu anakuambia, you know what? To make a kitu, and now you see your girlfriend also is demanding such a certain amount of money. How do men maybe what advice can you tell the men out there? How can they be able to balance their love life and they are supporting their parents and making sure they also move on with their career as well?
Yeah, actually, before further you answer, we just love to support what Maureen has said. Because you'll find that a parent has, two grown children, a male and a female, all right? But out there, sanajua watu wako huko nje. But if anything is missing at home, they won't call the girl child. In as much as the girl child is doing well on her own, they'll call the boy child and say, skari hakuna, imeisha na kesho naenda chama. Shughulikia hizo. And they wouldn't want to know where you're getting it from, or whether you have your own responsibilities on your own as a person.
Yeah.
So just as Maureen said, what do we need to do?
I think, first of all, the boy child himself, as we had started this discussion, has to be empowered. And being empowered means that at a certain level you are content with yourself. Because one of the pressures that hit men is the demands and the desire and the craving to please. You want to please, as you say, your girlfriend. Unaachwa, you want to please another one, you want to be better, maybe you want to take her to a nice place at a fancy hotel, you also want to be seen in the villages there, and so you find yourself that you are living beyond your means, and therefore because of that you start pressurizing yourself. And since you cannot share this with anybody and telling your wife or your girlfriend or your mother that I don't have, we don't know how to say I don't have enough. Probably this has accelerated in even the challenges of corruption in our country, that you want more, you want to prove that you have. But if you are empowered enough to know that whatever you have, you are contented, issue to be contented. That could be, it will help a lot. And as we have said about mentorship and all, and awareness. But I will also tell our sisters, that don't push men to the limit. Don't push men sometimes to the limit. Accept them. You know, nowadays I have heard many ladies say, siwezi olewa na mtu then ati tuna grow pamoja. No, he should have something when I am going to her. So don't pressurize. The society sometimes pressurizes the men for nothing. And we should train how to be content with yourself, be satisfied with what we have, but also don't go live beyond your means. Utapata tu mtu. Yeah.
So I think Father umesema correctly. In fact, even the best thing is instead of focusing on empowering boy child, then let's also empower girl child. Waone what is the rate? I mean the ratio of girl to child. I think it was in 2019. I was doing a show with the Nuncio, and that's when the censor results came out, and I asked him now, na hii ratio venye naenda 1:7, will we allow 1 man 7 women? Akasema nature has a way of balancing itself, but again tusiwekele nature sana, because women are not nature. If you give men pressure too much, hiyo pressure inawamaliza na depression. I believe hakuna dem mwenye anazapenda chali mwenda wazimu mwenye mechizi, but again unataka kuwa lead, which is why, because if you give them too much pressure. So if we start also empowering ladies, wajue pia wanaume wana struggle. If they are able to know that, then I think watawapunguzia pressure.
Okay, and actually that brings us to a certain a program that the Miss Rigathi Gachagua has, that is the deputy, the wife to the deputy president here in Kenya, empowering the boy child. And then you find that he's going to even places, Korogosho, all those interior places, to,
including the prisons.
Yeah, including the prisons, to ensure that she empowers the men, because I think she mentioned that most of them are using drug substance a lot. What do you think? What's the problem there?
I think, as I said, the social pressures, that are there. And as the study I alluded to in the beginning showed, and the findings were that there has been like a deliberate exclusion and more focus on girls' schools, girls' social amenities, but a little bit leaving out the boy. And this is now coming out. These are the results we can see. That study was done, and we can already see majority of those who are in prisons, majority of those who are drug addicts, they are boy child, certainly. But when I come to us as the church, I think we have spoken to this issue. We have tried to come up with programs like the one we know, the Beacon Boys program in the Archdiocese, which is empowering men, the CMA, the Catholic Men Organization, to take care of their sons who are growing up and to be with them. And this program, it can be said to be anchored to even the teachings of the church. Pope Francis has written 2 encyclical letters, and apostolic letter, one of them, and Kimayo has alluded to one. One is Amoris Laetitia, about the family, and he has focused on the role of men even in the family, in trying to be role models of these boys who are growing in there. The other one is Christus Vivit, about the youth, and he has talked about also accompanying now those who are in the youth stage, accompaniment. During that whole process, before he wrote that, the syndrome that was there, everywhere it was researched, it was shown that young people, and especially men, are lacking someone to accompany them. So you are left out there. You are left out there, and it is assumed that you know how to get in a relationship, how to start a family, how to bring up your children. You are left out there. But when you are a young son, 13, 14, maybe 15, starts abusing drugs, you don't know what to tell him or to tell him. and at the same time you don't want to share with other people because you fear you'll be told that you don't know how to raise children. So those two pillars, that we focus in the family, and also we focus in accompanying programs like the Beacon Boys, that is focused on accompanying the boys so that they can have their seniors who they can share their issues. I think those are some of the interventions that can slowly by slowly bring this issue, at least try to mitigate the effects of the abandonment of the boy child. Yeah.
Okay.
And as we're alluding to the study that you actually mentioned earlier on, I remember that there was a time another study came out and it showed that when you look at the suicide rates, men commit suicide more. The suicide rate among men is higher as opposed to the suicide rates among the women. So, Kimaya, would it be that our upbringing actually prompts us to have a particular perspective towards life, which ends up burdening the men in the long run?
Okay, I think that one is answered by the statement that Father Martin had said earlier. It is the pressure from the society. In that, and then for us men and our salvation, we don't speak much. Research inasema kwamba women speak 14,000 words a day, while men only speak 7,000 words a day.
We speak twice as much as you do.
Yes. Na wanasema that's why utapata hata mwanamke anaimba akitembea peke yake, so ndio amalize 14,000. So
Okay.
so kijipata kiimbo kwa tu sawa. Alafu unapata sisi tumemaliza zetu 7 tukienda kuona game ya Arsenal, tumecelebrate vizuri na zimeisha, and then tumekuja kwa nyumba hapa hivi umetukaza tuongee tutaongea tuseme nini. So with that kind of pressure unapata we cannot contain it, and then we don't share much. So if you have nobody to share with, and but again, yeah, it's kind of a bad culture that we don't share much, but maybe probably labda 7,000 zetu zitakuwa zimeisha. But again, I'll say that let's spare the 7,000, and especially for men to men talk, it becomes easier, and it's become very helpful, so that we are able to share. Because now for men, the reason why even the suicide rate zinaenda high is because if you don't have anybody to share with, then unafikiria sharing it with the rope itakusaidia ujimalize uondoke hizo mashida. So I think maybe mashida ndio zinatulidapo. However, si ati tunalia sana, but again, if we get a way of solving these problems, because unapata hata story ndogo hizo za peer pressure, stories za kuachwa, stories za nini ndio zinafanya mtu adedi. Mimi usema siwezi jinyonga nife, ama siwezi commit suicide nife, alafu mwenye nimekomitia suicide amebaki akijibamba. So I think it also need reasoning kidogo, that we love ourselves first, and then now we can spread that love to others to an extent, and if something goes wrong, then unazajiwa. So if you love yourself, then you're not going to kill yourself. If you love yourself that much, then hizo vitu zingine, because utajipata if you're going to commit suicide, it's because of something or because of somebody. But if you love yourself more than that somebody or more than that something, then you're not going to kill yourself. So for us men, let's love ourselves. If we do that, then we are not going to kill ourselves. Yeah.
Okay, well, now let's talk about education in our country in terms of empowering and supporting the boy child. If you take a look traditionally, most of the men was not actually to be believed to go to step in the kitchen, either to make a meal or prepare something. They're not allowed to do the chores. But nowadays, I can say you're smiling, Mr. Kimaya. Nowadays, you find that we even have a CBC in school, where even children are taught to how to, prepare a meal, how to clean utensils, and so many sorts of things. Do you feel that education in the country has really empowered men? Because some men feel, mtu akiniambia ati nipike, to be honest, I don't know, Mr. Kimaya, what you think, it's wrong, and you're actually demeaning them. What's your take, Father, for that?
Certainly, education has empowered all of us, including men. but I would I would say that we are in a kind of a transition period because our fathers, our grandfathers, probably they were not, some of them are not formally educated, and therefore the traditionally held roles for a man, herding, maybe going out in the farm but not in the kitchen. But now with the formal education and westernization that is there, we understand even now men can go to study hospitality, like catering and all, and they are the best chef, you must believe.
True.
And I hear nowadays even children love when their fathers have prepared a meal. It tastes better than the mother. I don't know whether a research can be done to that effect. That what I am saying is that the roles are changing, and probably even as a society we find ourselves where we are trying to live our African way of life, adapting a new Western. It's not so many years, maybe we are still assimilating some of those concepts. But generally, the education has empowered this boy child. But now the challenge is that, as we had alluded earlier, there seemed to have been so much focus on the girl child, such that the effect is today, if you go, for instance, in the teaching fraternity, I would bet that majority of the schools probably would have 12 female teachers and maybe 4 male teachers. Such that in the formative years of the children, they are only interacting with a teacher who is a female, which is not bad, but they don't have as many. Today, if you go to schools, girls' schools, probably they are in their majority, and probably they are more funded and more taken care of. Even the parents they can even contribute more to make them more comfortable. And the boys wanasema boys hata wakilala kwa hiyo dorm wasikie baridi, hawana shida sana. But that slowly by slowly makes it that the education sector is empowering more of the girl child and leaving behind. And the society cannot grow if you leave one gender behind. And that is why this campaign is very important. That yes, let us continue empowering the girl child, but also not leave, because when we empower this girl child alone, and we don't empower this boy child, like the way we are saying about school dropout, then this education will not have fulfilled its mission. And that is why probably even we are finding that some ladies are saying they are not meant to marry them. In the villages there, this war against illicit drugs, you find a lot of men there, idle. Ladies are there, they are supposed to be the fathers, they are in their 40s. So because they have not been empowered by education, they are just idle, they are not doing economic activities, socially they are not anywhere, they are not in anywhere, but the same age of the other gender, they are in chamas, they are buying plots, they are doing all these things, where others are just idling there asking for shilingi kumi ama hamsini. So I would say the role of education is very important. It has empowered, but somehow we relaxed on terms of empowering the boy child with education, and I think we should keep it up so that even in the teaching fraternity, many men become also teachers. And maybe as a comment also, look at our archdiocese. I've been working with the PMC for quite some time, especially as a chaplain, formerly in Eastern Deanery. And you realize that when you have the animators, those who take care of our children in the church, probably 80, if not 90%, are ladies. And we keep on asking, where are you meant to? Because in the PMC, we also have boys. So again, even in terms of spiritual empowerment, we are left behind. Yeah.
Okay, well, Bebe Magi, kuna mtu amesema eti kazi ya wanaume tu ni kuoga, lakini kukiwa na baridi hawaguzi maji.
Okay. To what Father was saying, it's true that there are ladies out there who are of ripe age to get married, but they are not meant to marry because men are not probably as empowered as the ladies are. And I know that in the streets of social media, most people say that the society empowered the girl child, but forgot to teach the boy child how to live with an empowered girl child. Yeah? Yes. So, but then again, to Mr. Kimaya, a very simple and straightforward question. In the parliament, we have women representatives. Should we have a man or male representative?
Yes, we should.
And what would their role be?
The same role for our women rep.
Okay.
They just change because now I'm wondering that in the same parliament we have women who've been elected. Now I usually get example of like Nakuru County. The governor is a lady. We have senator is a lady. I think it is in Njoro. MP is a lady. Do they still need a woman rep? Then where are men? Then you see,
They are all MCAs.
even
Yeah.
MCAs probably are women, because now when I was having a discussion, they said that this time round tulisema wacha tujaribu akina mama. Then when will you try akina baba? Yeah. So because if you are talking of gender equality, because now I think we normally talk of gender equality looking at one side. If it is about gender equality, if we have women rep, then let's also have men rep. Because now, if we have women rep, this is a woman who is representing women, right? Are men not supposed to be represented? Surely. We also need representation. Na hiyo ndio tukisema men conference, mnaona hii wameamua. We also need this representation for women.
I'm seeing for this.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. And I was sure.
Maybe for Kibaya is that when the architects of Kenya Constitution 2010 were drafting it, there was that question of when shall we have gender parity, such that we are almost 50-50. And it was seen that for the society to grow and appreciate women, it may take so long a time. So there was that attempt of that the representatives who make our laws and who legislate, who oversight, who represent us, how are we going to have gender parity in that supreme organ of our governance? And that is why they say probably if we bring if we create a position that can only be for women, probably in parliament, therefore we are going to have the majority. And I don't think, probably this seat will not live forever. If the society grows and appreciates the role of men and women equally, so such that in an election, even when without women representing seats, we achieve that almost 50-50, then there will be no need. But I think that was a reaction of the long-held gender marginalization of the female gender, of the girl child. But now we are saying, probably if we keep emphasizing on the girl child, on the child, and empowering her, one time probably we will need to abolish women rep and go
And
back
replace
to
it.
men's rep, which should not be the case. So I think the thing is we continue empowering, even politically, both genders.
Fortunately, at least tuko na mawakili wawili. Unajua sisi on this other side, nimesikia whether amesema the other gender, so sisi on this other side
represented.
sisi on this other side, then it is up to you, because now if you look at it logically, you realize that okay, women ndio wengi kwa nchi. At sijui kama wao ndio voters. I don't want to say that they are the majority voters, but again, some laws that are not making, at this point, it's not making sense, because I think maybe they didn't consider something like in a scenario in Nakuru County. So if we are talking of equality, chemistry wasn't my best subject, but nilikuwa napenda penye kwa nasema balancing the equation. Sikuwa najua nini na balansiwa, but balancing the equation inamaanisha 50-50. So let's also balance the equation. Ndio Boychild pia wasifeel ni kama they are completely out.
Wow. Okay, I'm loving the conversation, and it has been a very informative session, hearing some valuable insights from the both of the gentlemen. That is Father Martin J here, and I understand that our time is up, so for your parting shot, maybe you can tell the viewers what should maybe the society, the church, and the educators such that we also have, boys boarding schools as well. What can they do to ensure that they empower the boy child to become better men in future?
Thank you very much. And this is a societal challenge, and therefore all actors in the society should be involved, from the government, from the religious bodies, from non-state actors, NGOs, trying to put up programs that can try to mitigate the effects of discrimination somehow of the boy child. But I would say for the even individuals as men, one, as a church, we would emphasize on spiritual growth, because you realize even traditionally it is men who used to offer sacrifices, and that empowered even their sons, and therefore they became pillars in the society. So men, let us not neglect our spiritual well-being, because when we have a spiritual well-being, we will take that to our families, and our boys will see us. I remember seeing my father when I was a small boy, praying the rosary, going to mass early, being there in the church, and being there in the family prayers. And that is what has inspired me to be who I am today. So the father figure is sometimes missing in our families. Even when he is there, he is an absentee father. So I would challenge us ourselves men. Let us empower ourselves spiritually. Let us empower ourselves socially. Let us have those groupings. Nowadays I'm happy, many men you hear, tunaenda mbuzi pahali. Let us have that social empowerment. Let us also economically empower ourselves, like the way they normally organize themselves well. And by doing that, once we empower the men, the fathers in the families, they'll be able to mentor even the younger generation, so that they are also empowered. Because we are not agitating for that the female should not be empowered, but we are saying let us empower both, so that we can have empowered families, empowered society, empowered church. Yeah.
Amen, amen. And Maggie, I think we have to wind up and continue with this conversation next time. We should have an episode too. So Maggie, what do you have to say?
For me, I will say that a boy child is a child just like the girl child. Let us not sit back, cross our arms, and say that the boy child will figure out his problems. Remember that all children are the same and equal.
And as well, mine is to say thank you to all of you who were tuning in to this conversation. Thank you very much for sharing your feedback. And I can see there were some people who are following, starting with Sir Henry Ayora. We have Yosabia Mora from Kisi. We have Fifi Emush. Thank you very much for your feedback. And let's continue to have this conversation, not only just here at Capuchin TV. Let's continue to empower boy child in our society, in our homes, and everywhere, in our workplace, wherever you work, wherever you stay. Let's make sure we support each other to work towards achieving the same goal. Thank you very much to the team that was behind the scene, starting with Alan and Diva, Peter Mwangi, and Susan Bulemi. Thank you very much. And to our panelist here, Father Martin J here, and William, thank you very much for your time and for sharing those important insights to the viewers. Until next time, keep it firmly faith right here on Capuchin TV. God bless.
Yo, what's up my guys? Jenny was say the wait is finally over.
Yeah, and Capuchin TV brings you exciting news for the youth this year 2024 with a youth program called
Form Ni Faith. In this particular program, we will be bringing you Bible trivias.
We have discussions. We have talent show for those ones who love to showcase their talents, like singing.
I do what I can when I can, while I care for my people.
Modeling,
oral narratives, spoken words.
Hey, stop walking while I'm talking. Nataka kuji-express, at least nito stress. Even if I can smile, it's only for a while. Yesu anakudai, that's why he accepted to die on the cross, to remove your dilemma and to give you a new direction.
Catch us on every Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m. only at Capuchin TV.
You can also get the repeats every Wednesday from 7 p.m. again only on Capuchin TV. And remember,
if you would love us to come and cover your event, you can contact us on 0717-424-866. Form New Faith with your favorite host, Maureen Kimani.
And I, Maggie Maina.
Come all to enjoy in Christ.
huyu ni Yesu Mnazareti, mwana wa Baba, huyu ni Yesu mwenyewe.
Looking for a brighter, more beautiful smile? St. Francis Community Hospital, Kasarani has you covered. From Monday, the 30th of September to Friday, the 4th of October 2024, we are hosting a free medical camp. Get life-changing cleft lip and palate surgery because everyone deserves a beautiful smile. Plus, we are offering subsidized plastic surgery services including reduction mammoplasty, gynecomastia excision, keloid excision, burn wound care, advanced wound care, contracture release, syndactyly release, skin grafting, PRP injections, breast surgeries, reconstruction surgeries, weight management procedures, and much more. Hurry and book your appointment before the 23rd of September 2024. For more details and inquiries, call 0793 468 184 or 0112 466 501. The free medical camp is brought to you by St. Francis Community Hospital in partnership with the Kenya Society of Plastic, Reconstructive and Aesthetic Surgeons, the University of Nairobi, and Smile Train. St. Francis Community Hospital, because everybody deserves a beautiful smile. Stay tuned to Capuchin TV, your Catholic identity.
Mwezi wa mama Maria, hebu nitutafakari matendo ya Rozari.
Mimi ni Askofu Joseph Mwongela, askofu wa jimbo la Kitui na mwenyekiti wa kitengo cha Baraza la Maaskofu cha Pastoral and Lay Apostolate. Na waalika nyote kwa siku yetu ya maombi ya kitaifa, National Prayer Day, kule Subukia, tarehe 5 mwezi wa 10 mwaka huu, ambapo pia tunasherehekea miaka 50 ya jumuiya ndogondogo katika huku Afrika ya Mashariki, ile tunaita AMESEA region. Tutakuwa tumejumuika ili tuweze kusherehekea kwa pamoja. Na waalika nyote tuweze kuja na kuomba kwa pamoja, tukiangalia nyuma vile tumeendelea kama kanisa na jumuiya ndogondogo, tuweze kuomba kwa sababu ya nchi yetu, kwa ulimwengu mzima, ili tuweze kuendelea kwa amani. Kiini cha mwaka huu ni kutembea pamoja kwa uadilifu kama familia ya wana wa Mungu. Tuweze kutembea kwa pamoja, tuweze kushirikiana na kuombeana na kujadiliana, tukitembea kwa uadilifu kama wana wa Mungu. Tuombee amani, tuombee nchi yetu, watu wote tuje kwa pamoja, tuombe kwa pamoja na tuzidi kuombea nchi yetu ili tuwe na amani, tuwe na utulifu, tuwe na haki kama vile Mungu ambavyo ametuita. Na wakaribisha nyote tujiweke mikononi mwake Mama Maria, ambaye hakuna yeyote alimuomba na akaachwa bila kujibiwa. Tunawakaribisha sisi wote tuweze kuja kwa pamoja, na pia tukiwa chini ya ulinzi wake Mama Maria, ambaye alikuwepo katika ndoa ya Kena na akaona kile kilichopungua, ili aangalie katika familia zetu, katika tulipo na kile kilicho na upungufu, atuombee kwa mwanawe Yesu Kristu, ili tuweze kuishi maisha ambayo ni yale Mungu alituumbia, kwa kuishi kwa umoja, tukitembea pamoja kama wana wa Mungu ambao ametuumba ili tuishi hapa duniani, tumpende, tumtumikie, tupendane na mwishowe tuweze kuishi naye milele. Na kwa hayo yote katika hii siku yetu ya maombi, sasa ni zamu ya Metropolitan ya Mombasa, ambapo ni jimbo kuu la Mombasa, Malindi na Garissa ambao wanatuongoza, lakini sisi wote tumekaribishwa ili tuweze kujumuika kwa pamoja, tusherekee hii siku kubwa katika maisha yetu. Mungu awabariki.
Ni mwezi wa mama yetu Bikira Maria, ni mwezi ulio na neema ya pekee, ni mwezi wa mama Maria. Karibuni tutafakari matendo ya Rozari.
Umenipa chakula cha uzima, ukanipa kinywaji chenye uzima. Nakushukuru Bwana, milele nitakusifu. Pokea sifa zangu zitoke moyoni mwangu. Nakushukuru Bwana, milele nitakusifu. Pokea sifa zangu zitoke moyoni mwangu.
Tarehe 31 mwezi Mei mwaka 2014 alipokea daraja takatifu ya upadri mkononi mwake Askofu Mkuu Philip Anyolo wa jimbo kuu la Nairobi. Takriban miaka 10 baadaye, Padri Moses Ocheng anawaalika nyote katika sherehe yake ya kumshukuru Mungu na watu wote wa mapenzi mema katika miaka 10 ya uchungaji, utume na ushuhuda wa imani, itakaofanyika siku ya Ijumaa tarehe 25 mwezi Oktoba mwaka huu katika parokia Mtakatifu Teresa eneo la Sumbi kwenye jimbo Katoliki la. Misa takatifu itaanza saa 4 asubuhi ikiongozwa na Mwashamu Michael Diwa, askofu wa jimbo Katoliki la Homa Bay. Runinga ya kipekee na ya kikatoliki hapa nchini itakita kambi kwenye jimbo hilo kuwaletea matukio yote ya sherehe hiyo. Kwa maelezo zaidi, usikose pamoja na mtandao wetu wa kijamii. Nasi kutoka hapa runinga ya Capuchin tunasema pongezi kwa Padri Moses kwa miaka 10 ya kumtumikia Mungu. Mungu amlinde katika kazi yake ya utume.
Umenipa chakula cha uzima, ukanipa kinywaji chenye uzima. Nakushukuru Bwana, milele nitakusifu. Pokea sifa zangu zitoke moyoni mwangu. Nakushukuru Bwana, milele nitakusifu. Pokea sifa zangu zitoke moyoni mwangu.
Endelea kutazama runinga ya Capuchin, kituo nambari 1 cha imani